we got to start at Villa Park.
Yeah.
Aston Villa against Manchester City. Honestly, this game, it finished 1-0 to Villa. It could have been, I thought, Villa could have scored 3, 4, maybe even more in this game. So uncharacteristic, I thought, from City. But then that was my thinking. But then I thought their defending wasn't good at the weekend against Spurs either.
No, but still, we haven't seen this City team under Guardiola being so dominated by another team, home and away. They've lost, like this season against Arsenal, but that was an even game, against Wolves away. But they had a lot of possession. You could make a case for them still to be the best team in those games. But on Wednesday night, they were just second best on everything. Every little statistic that you can look at.
Let's not make the mistake where the better team losing kind of outshines the fact that, which I'm guilty of all the time, and I apologize in advance, outshines the fact that, the slightly less good team, or perceived to be less good team, beat them.
Yeah.
We need to show some praise for Aston Villa. It's 14 games in a row that they won at home.
In the league, yeah.
But they really wiped the floor.
They destroyed them in a team where the midfield won the game, really. I think, Rodri is out for City, and we know what happens when Rodri is out for City. They'll usually lose unless they play young boys, which is the only team that they beat this season without Rodri. They lost against Newcastle, Arsenal, Wolves, and now Villa. And if you're Unai Emery and you know that there's no Rodri in there, what do? I guess you strengthen your midfield. So instead of just playing with Douglas Luiz and Camara like you've done most of the season, you put Tielemans in there. And then that control that you have over the midfield, which is really very often the key of a game, especially against City, then you get very dominant there. And I thought Douglas Luiz especially bossed the game massively. Camara was excellent, Tielemans was excellent. And those three, especially against Akanji, Stones, a bit of Rico Lewis there, whatever you want, was just too strong, too good.
Douglas Luiz, of course, a Manchester City guy.
Player, yeah.
A guy who came over very young from Manchester City. For whatever reason, they felt he wasn't going to make the grade. Against those midfielders that we saw last night from City, including the ones who came on, Mateus Nunes and whatever, I mean, I thought he certainly outclassed all of them.
Completely, yeah. But Pep got his team wrong massively.
Let's keep more praise on Villa though, because again, I'm sorry, Villa fans. Starting with you, Luis Miguel Echegaray, and by the way, it's not a coincidence. I think that Villa are in the Champions League spots since Luis Miguel Echegaray moved here. Clearly, there's a causal effect there. I'm curious though about he sacrifices Diaby and Zaniolo for this game, who, Zaniolo had started the weekend. I think Diaby had 2. And you go with Leon Bailey, who maybe is the fastest out of all of them, with Watkins. When I saw that, I thought, all right, you're a little bit, I know you're strengthening the midfield and everything, but you're kind of isolating them. But then I felt what happened in this game, the Villa's midfield was so good that actually they were in the final third a lot of the time, and it wasn't just a case of playing on the counter.
No, you're right, and we didn't mention John McGinn, who was excellent again, but Aston Villa recovered the ball 13 times in the City third. So imagine recovering the ball that high. City are the most press-resistant team, really, in the world. You press them, but they always found a way to get a spare man and find him, and then your press is inefficient. And yet Villa yesterday squeezed them out, pressed them so well, recovered the ball so high that then you didn't play on the counter because Villa got the ball in the City half anyway. So then you give the ball to Bailey, to Watkins, to McGinn to make a difference. I thought Konsa was good. I thought Luka Ding was amazing on the left-hand side. And everywhere. And what I would say is Unai Emery didn't make a substitution until the 80th minute. So for 80 minutes, Villa played with that intensity, that tempo against the best team in the world without dropping that intensity. And I think that is so impressive because you can do for 20 minutes against City, but that's someone you get tired. But to do it for 80 minutes, wow.
Yeah, I'm wondering at what point we're going to stop saying that best team in the world. I'm still going to say it, but I don't know how much longer. And I'll say this. I had the United game on and I had this game on, and I made little notes. And the 2 Haaland chances early on. Yeah. And then I look at the end, I'm like, oh, look, there's no more City shots. That's weird. I must have forgotten something. And then I go, 2 shots on goal
Yeah.
in the entire game for Manchester City.